Today I am doing a wire drive here in Alberta, Canada on my friend Faris's Toyota Tacoma. This is a pre-runner transitioning into sort of like a trail truck. So he's built this truck over the last 7 years, and today we're going to find out what it took to build this, some advice he would have for you if you want to build a truck like this, and of course go and explore some of Alberta's wilderness. Let's find out why he drives it. So right here is the owner of this sweet truck. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Faris, and this is my 2017 Tacoma.
So I gotta ask, why do you drive this truck?
I really enjoy coming out to places like this, getting away from cities and all the busy stuff. No traffic out here, it's just the mountains.
It is absolutely incredible scenery out here. Like literally, I live here and I had no idea that you could just go off-road and drive along trails like this.
It's really cool to be able to do this in your backyard.
I know, this is literally less than an hour from where we live.
Yeah.
Like in the city, which is nuts to me. And we've got beautiful blue ice right here. Like, I can imagine this was your favorite place to be, but it wasn't always that way, right? You didn't just born and have this truck, you built this truck.
Yeah.
What started your obsession with coming out here to places like this?
So I actually came out here with my high school when I was just a wee little lad in a Volkswagen Golf, and that car was slammed. It would scrape everywhere, but I brought it out here and took a rock in the oil pan and had to get it towed back home. So by the time I got home, I still wanted to go camping with my friends, and my mom had a Land Rover. So I asked her if I could take it, brought it out here, and I was like, I have to build a truck now.
This truck came into the picture at that time?
No, I actually bought a 2003 Tacoma, but it was only two-wheel drive, and it just wasn't getting me the places where I wanted to go. And then this one came into the picture a few months after that. Got a full Camberg long travel kit, so it's a 3.5 extension kit. It pushes all the suspension out about 3.5 inches. We've got upgraded spindles, upper control arms, lower control arms. It's sitting on King 2.5 external reservoir shocks in the front. That's about it for suspension in the front. The CV axles are extended as well. This is a C4 hybrid front bumper. Those are KC Flex Era 4s. I really like those lights. I used to have a whole bunch of lights on the roof, in the bumper, under the bumper, everywhere, and just those four put out way more light than that, so I'm gonna stick with the KCs.
And then the back, it's got the matching suspension to the front.
So the back is a little crazier than the front. The back is something you don't see too often. I have King 3.0 222 bypasses. They actually come out of the bed and sit along the side there. They bolt into the Camberg bed cage, and then the leaf springs are Deaver leaf springs, and they go underneath the axle instead of over top like any other regular truck.
So what inspired you to build a truck to this level?
This was a mix of research and just falling in love with something KB Tech was doing. So they're out of California, of course, but that's where I got the inspiration for the black and the gold, for the King shocks. They don't come like that. I wanted to build a truck that resembled something that they were building, that I could do kind of whatever I wanted. I could go 100 kilometers down this strip, or I could take it up into the rocks. It does pretty much everything.
Because are there any other trucks at this level in Alberta that you've seen?
Not that I know of to this extent. There's a few pretty close ones. Crave had built quite a few that are pretty close to this, but I haven't seen anything with a bed cage and bypasses yet.
So I gotta ask, how much does it cost to build a truck like this?
The cost is pretty much endless. If you factor in repairs and everything, you're just spending money unlimitedly. The initial build, I'll say the price for the rear suspension is about $22,000 US, and then the front is probably around $8,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't see. Okay, that's just telephone numbers. I didn't think it was going to be that insane.
And then you got to factor in your gears. Those are going to break eventually. Your drive shafts, that's also going to break. So we've got custom drive shafts underneath this truck. instead of your standard spline, it's got pretty much a shock cylinder in the bottom, so that's where it extends. The gears have been rebuilt in this truck numerous times. It's just countless.
Goodness. So when you're taking the truck like this off-road, it's not just about the parts and the modifications, it's also about breaking it. That's gonna happen. It's not a maybe, it's a when.
Yeah, you will break it. I usually travel with the spare axles in the back, some wheel bearings. If I go any place far, I usually tow it out, and seems to make it a lot easier if I break something.
Yeah, I mean, today I pulled up and we're about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from the entrance of the trail, and you had it on the truck and trailer, unloaded it, and I was like, oh, is it not street legal? And he's like, no, in case it breaks, right?
Yeah.
Just makes it easier.
Yep, makes it a lot easier. You don't gotta worry about fixing it out here.
Yeah.
You can just find a way to get it back up to the top and then take it home and fix it in a nice warm shop.
So have you broken anything on this truck recently?
Not really broken anything. I put it in a ditch a few weeks ago. I was doing probably 120, spun out on the road actually just up here, and then it blew the tire right off the bead.
Oh my goodness.
We're running a spare tire for now, and that's why we always carry a full-size spare.
So sorry to just cut there, but while we were filming, this couple or this family over there, I guess, got stuck, and they walked over to ask if we could help tow them out. So now we're gonna go and see what we can do to help them.
Yeah, we'll go help them. We'll get their truck out and get them back on the roads.
So I guess this is my transition to let's go for a ride and go save some people. Before we continue with the video, I would like to thank DashLinks for making this video possible. They actually make basically dash cam adapters for Toyota Tacomas. So in this package, you get an adapter that plugs into your rear view mirror so that you can run the dash cam right behind your rear view mirror. That way you don't have wires going anywhere, you don't have to hardwire it, anything like that. It powers it off the rear view mirror. Here's how to install the DashLinks within 30 seconds. First, you grab the adhesive and attach it to the DashLinks. Next, you clean the back of your rear view mirror so that way the surface is all prepped and it will stay on for years to come. Once you've attached it, you grab one of the cables that it comes with. Now they send 3 different cables, so no matter what dash cam you have, this product will work. And you plug the cable in on one end to the DashLinks, and on the other end, you plug it into the dash cam. This way your rear view mirror will power your dash cam without having to hardwire it into the truck. So if you want to get one of these sets, the link will be in the description, and you can order yours today if you have a Tacoma like this. No need for a startup today, it's already running because it's so cold out here.
I hope they're not really stuck.
Yeah, I hope they're not super stuck either. I hope we can get them out. Does this happen a lot on the trails?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to come out by myself all the time, so I then, like, I can get stuck by myself and get myself out now.
Yeah.
But if you're not really prepared for it, you can spend some nights out here.
So you should always bring a tent and a lot of clothing and food.
Always bring food and make sure you have fuel.
Yeah. There goes Faris. Just gonna try and pull it out from the back right here, because as you can see, the front is not really coming out. There we go. There we go. Look at that.
Nice and easy.
All right, now off and on with the rest of our video. Going to the waterfalls. We are in the truck now, and well, you're saying we want to go up this?
Yeah, we could drive up pretty much anything. There'll be a lot of clanking and smashing, but that's just rocks against our skid plates, and they're built for that, so let's give it a shot.
I mean, let's try it. To me, I look at that and I go like, there's no way you can make it up that without breaking something. Oh my gosh. Oh man, the sounds. Oh. That's what was that, 45-degree angle, you think? Maybe more?
Yeah, videos don't do it justice.
No, they don't. I mean, I was fully looking up at the sky right there. Oh my gosh, it's kind of nerve-wracking when this is my first time going off-road like this. You look at things and you think they're impossible. So for you, do you still get nervous about breaking things, like the sounds of the clunking and the...
No.
No?
No. It's part of it. Like, the mountains don't care who you are. They don't care what your truck is. The mountains are here, and they don't move for you. They'll break your truck.
Yeah. So no matter how much you build your truck, it can still break.
Yeah, and it will.
It will break.
It will always break.
Now we're going through a river. Wow. That is quite the steep thing.
It is quite the ledge.
And it just took it like a curb.
Yeah, those ledges are always scary though. Sometimes it'll go nice and easy, and sometimes you'll be stuck there.
So when you drive in the snow, do you lower the tire pressure like the Icelandic trucks, like the one I interviewed probably a month or two ago?
Yeah, so we air down. We have air compressors on board. I've got one built in under the seat of the truck. I typically air down to around 10 psi. Right now I'm at 8.5 for all four. They're not bead locks, but that's why I keep a full-size spare with me. Carried a full-size spare with me since as long as I can remember. Never used it until last week. And actually, I didn't even end up using it last week. We just got the bead back on the wheel, and I swapped over to the spare once I got home.
Do you come out pretty often?
I used to a lot more, but I've recently become a dad, so it's slowed down a little bit.
Do you
But I come out as much as I can.
Well, do you plan to bring your daughter out when time goes on?
Absolutely. I've got a car seat set up in the back now, and I'm ready when she is. So.
Oh, we're going through some deep snow right here. What's the key here? Keep power up, keep revs up?
Yeah, I like to just keep going as fast as I can. Momentum keeps you going. If you slow down, that's when you get stuck.
So what's the most dangerous terrain, would you say, coming out here? Is it the deep snow? Is it the ice? Is it the water? Is it just rocks?
Coming out here specifically, I'll say it's the river crossings and the water. You can't always gauge exactly what's going to happen, but if you keep your momentum up, it gives you a higher chance to get out if you get close to getting stuck.
Okay. This is so fascinating to learn about. I've never had the opportunity to come out here. I mean, the Iceland video was my first time really going off-road in a truck, and then this is my second time. It's cool to do it in Canada and see the differences. This truck just does it like no problem. So these are the waterfalls that everyone comes to. Wow. We're right here. There's another one right there.
Funny enough, I got engaged right there.
Oh wow.
That is where I proposed to my fiance.
That's awesome. That is sweet. Well, congrats on getting engaged here.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So I guess this whole trail and area is pretty memorable for you.
For me, yeah, I've taken my dad out here for his first time. Yeah, I'd like for this place to stay open for a long time.
Yeah.
I'd like to take my kids here and let them see it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us and giving us a tour of Alberta's off-road trails and stuff. It's been awesome, especially in this truck. Arguably one of the coolest trucks out here. It's been my honor to interview you, Faris, and I appreciate you taking the time to show us this.
Oh, it's been fantastic bringing you out here. You guys are great company, and I'd like to have more people come out here and enjoy this place, because it is for the public and it's here for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. On our way heading back, and there's another Tacoma in the ice. So, rescue mission number 2 today. Oh. Maybe number 3. There we go. Easy.
That was too easy, love.
Number 2. I see why you love doing this. It's a lot of fun.
It is lots of fun. You meet lots of cool people. Everyone out here is always friendly.
No, they
Whether
are.
your truck's completely built or not, we're all friends.
Everyone's super nice. Everyone helps each other out. That's a sick Jeep. And everybody helps you when you get stuck, which I'll be honest, my favorite part of today has been getting stuck.
Yeah.
Well, not us getting stuck, but other people and helping them.
Yeah. It is lots of fun.
Yeah. That's my favorite
It's a
part.
really good community.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. I'll see you in the next video. And oh yeah, thanks to DashLinks for making this possible. If you're over Tacoma, they also have Broncos, 4Runners. You can get the little adapter to run your dash cam off of your rear view mirror. If you want to be in one of these videos with your car, truck, whatever it may be, there's a form in the description where you can submit your vehicle and I can travel to you to interview you. In the meantime, never ever quit your dreams. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, God loves you.